Hello, dear students! Welcome back to Deutsch Mnemonics, the place where German finally starts making sense. I'm really happy to see you here, so let's dive in. Today we continue our food topic, so quick warning, if you are hungry right now, this might get dangerous. Now take a look at this image. A beautiful fish, glowing, almost magical, and in German we call it der Fisch. Sounds familiar, right? That's because English and German are basically language cousins. A lot of words look and sound almost the same. So at the A1 level, you usually won't have much trouble memorizing vocabulary, but then comes the hardest part, gender. Because it's not just fish, it's der Fisch. And if you don't know the gender, your sentences fall apart, adjectives go wrong, everything starts sound a bit weird. So here at Deutsch Mnemonics, we don't just learn words, we learn tricks to remember their gender. Now it's time for a little secret. In German, you'll often notice a funny pattern. Inside one topic, you can find three keywords. And guess what? All three have different genders. Coincidence? Yes. But it keeps repeating and we can use it. Let's look at our delicious example. Das Fleisch, der Fisch, die Wurst. They are the main words in the world of non-vegetarian food, and all three have different genders, neuter, masculine and feminine. Let's break it down. In modern German, das Fleisch refers both to the meat we eat and to the flesh of a living being. Why is it neuter? In German, many words describing substances that you can't easily count as individual units like water or gold tend to be neuter. For example, das Wasser, water, das Gold, gold, das Holz, wood. Das Fleisch is a substance, so it's neuter. Der Fisch comes from Old High German Fisch, which was already treated as a masculine noun, and this grammatical gender has simply been preserved over time. By the way, most types of fish are masculine in German in the same way as the general word der Fisch. The word die Wurst, sausage, is feminine in German. Its roots are quite literal and describe how a sausage is made. Originally, a Wurst was simply a mixture of minced meat and spices that was tossed together and then turned into a casing. Interestingly, this is the same root that gave English the word war, originally meaning confusion, mixture. Why is it feminine? Do you guys remember from the previous video the difference between der Kuchen, a simple homemade cake, and die Torte, a more complex cake with cream and layers? It's the same idea here. Die Wurst is not just pure flesh, it's a more complex product. That's why it's feminine. Oh guys, the image is so appealing. I kinda wanted to be there right now, at that hotel, at that party, listening to that music. But don't worry. In the next picture, we have even more fun. Look, honestly, this whole scene feels like a dream. A party, music, lights, and German songs. Let's listen. Das Kind singt.
Ich möchte ein Steak, oh Baby, ja. Ich mag Fleisch, wunderbar. Ich möchte ein Steak, oh Baby, ja. Ich mag Fleisch, wunderbar.
Why is it das Steak? In German, the word das Steak is neuter for two reasons. First, most words borrowed from English into German are neuter. In English, these things are called it, and in German, das is the closest equivalent for inanimate objects. For example, das Team, das Ticket, das Hobby. Second, there is the idea of a general category. In German, a specific item often takes the gender of the general category it belongs to. Since the general word for meat is das Fleisch, which is neuter, the specific cut of meat, steak, follows the same pattern. A quick note on plurals, just like in English, you add s, die steaks. And now our lady steps in.
Es ist mir Wurst,
der Kette glänzt auf der Brust.
I don't care. My pearl on the chain glistens on my breast. And here's the trick. In her song, die Wurst, die Perle, die Kette, die Brust, all nouns are feminine. Perfect little pattern to remember. In Germany, if someone says Das ist mir Wurst, literally this is sausage to me, it means I don't care, or it's all the same to me. Historically, it didn't matter to the butcher which leftover scraps of meat were mixed together inside the sausage. The end result was always just Wurst, so he literally didn't care. And now, our stylish guy in gold and the goldfish come to the scene.
Ich habe einen Goldfisch für jeden Wunsch. Du hast einen frischen Salat und einen süßen Punsch. Ich habe einen Goldfisch für jeden Wunsch. Du hast einen frischen Salat und einen süßen Punsch.
I have a goldfish for every wish. You have a fresh salad and a sweet punch. In tales, one can find a golden fish that fulfills wishes, but our fish has other plans. He doesn't want to grant wishes and instead tells us to try einen Salat und einen Punsch. And do you know why he tells this? Because I want you to remember that der Salat is masculine. You've probably already figured out that der Punsch is masculine too. It's an alcoholic drink, which we discussed in last video. By the way, I've recorded little songs with our stars. You can find them in the shorts on my channel. If you enjoyed this, please like, share and subscribe. See you in the next lesson. Tschüss!